In my last 20 plus years career, I have seen many celebrated advertising professionals, but this guy is very ruthless, very humble. He's a combination of excellence and humility.
You're a very kind man.
We have a video here of his. We will start with that actually.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm able to make it worth your while on this wonderful Friday evening where you could have been doing so many other things other than listening to a storyteller tell you a few stories. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but because that's my job, right? To make sure you guys have fun. And for some reason, it's gone off. I changed the title to For the Love of Advertising because of Laj, and that's the surprise that's coming up, right? Yeah. And it's all about, storytelling is all about making every word count when you're talking, right? When you're talking. But when you're visualizing it and when you're actually making a film or your communication is led by the audiovisual language, you have to ensure that you make every second count. That's the trick you have to learn first in advertising, right? So that I learned around 25 years ago, and I've been slowly compressing time because even the demands of the media and the demands of the budgets are such that you have to try and tell stories in the shortest format today, right? All of us know that. It's 10 seconds and 15 seconds and 20 seconds is your media plan. Sometimes you get lucky. So most of the work we push ourselves to try and make a longer version, which is we call a director's cut. But ideally, you have to tell your story in 20 seconds because that's when it can go across multiple mediums and social media as well and mobile and everything, and people are sharing the shorter versions first. It's almost like a trailer to what's coming up. So this one I'm calling as split second storytelling for you. I'll start with a few, to treat this storytelling session as a journey, to some inspiration. What inspired me to really do something fantastic is work like this. I'm playing a few little inspiration, right? And Nike did this in around 2000, I think, just when I was starting off.
Can you count, suckers?
So I started off thinking, I want to do films like this. This is outstanding work. And if you look at what Nike has done constantly and consistently, is they've maintained this as a format. How many of you have seen the 2026 Football World Cup film created by Nike, which has gone viral around the world? They followed exactly the same format. If you look at this film, which is one of their old films, the oldest films, where they've used celebrities, cartoons, characters and everything, and they mixed it all together amazingly, but held that thread, and for every second, even if they use that clip for just a second, you feel it, right? So that's amazing storytelling, right? That's a learning for me. So the next one is this one was one of the most awarded Nike films ever, and it's also sending us a message.
It's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us. Some people are told they were born with greatness. Some people tell themselves.
If greatness doesn't come knocking at your door, maybe you should go knock on its door.
Sometimes greatness is about overcoming insurmountable adversity. Sometimes it's just fun.
Greatness isn't always measured in tenths of a point. It's a bit bigger than that.
Sometimes greatness is something you plan. But most of the time, it's just something you try.
It's easy to think greatness is only something you see on TV. Unless, of course, greatness is watching TV.
Greatness is a scary thing. Until it isn't.
So there's a whole bunch of films, right? But it's a powerful statement. And the origin of Nike, the original positioning of Nike and the belief that they had when they were building the brand was that everybody is an athlete. If you look at the people that they've showcased in the no other client would, no other brand would choose such characters, right? Like if you saw the first film, an oversized guy, kid, who can't even run, but he's aspiring to find something, to do something, and he's doing it, right? That determination, that desperation, that ability to become an athlete, right? He knows he's got a long distance to cover than most of us, but he's still at it. So I think that sends out a message that you hold on to one thread as brand Nike, and I've worked on it for over a decade. So it is the most inspiring brand in the world, and especially if you have some sports background and you're interested in some form of sport. Nike has connected the dots between everybody is an athlete and just do it in very, very seamless manners, right? There are multiple films. I won't, we can go straight to the journey now. So I started working on Nike in probably 2009 up to 2019, so 10 years. And this is the first big film that I wrote. and it was approved by the entire, Nike's headquarters is in Portland in the US, and there are a lot of levels of, while they're not really a corporate like the many multinational companies you work with, but the approvals take it's a long process. So you got to send it to the regional team, and then to the global team, and then finally, including the competing agency, which is Dan Wyden himself sits on the board and sees if this idea is really worth it, and then they let you fly, right? So I thought I'd cracked it. This was the best film that Nike has ever done in India, but then it was not. But still, it made a lot of impact. All of you remember Bleed Blue. This is for the 2012 World Cup, I think, 2011-12. Immediately after that, we did this film. Sound is okay for you guys? So, I also thought that this is the best thing I could ever have done, and it did get a lot of good, some fame and fortune across. Because of this one film, I do get calls from both BCCI and ICC for projects, and I just did one project for ICC last year and one for BCCI with Apollo this year. Thanks to the work that you do, right? It sort of, it registers that this guy can think cricket, think sport, and how to convert it into storytelling in different ways. But when it went to Cannes, right? Cannes has become the mecca of advertising, right? You have, if you're a creative guy in India, while you can win awards at the local and the regional levels, but your aspiration always is that you got to win it at the Oscars, right? Like a filmmaker out of Kerala who wins the national award, his next aspiration or next dream would be that I should make a film that wins an Oscar, right? Because no director from India has ever won an Oscar yet. So that's an opening for all of us, right? Still there is hope. We entered this in Cannes thinking that, we're going to sweep the show with the world, but it got 0 in Cannes. Not even a shortlist. I think it got some music make shortlist and a couple of them. Nothing that, converted. So then you start thinking like, man, you're thinking that you've done the best piece of work. This is the best possible work. The budgets were right. We shot for 3 months. This film was shot for 3 months across the country, from Ladakh to Kanyakumari and Rajasthan to Manipur, right? Different camera units going out, shooting, capturing different things, and features the entire Indian cricket team. I've been lucky that way. A lot of films I've done with the entire Indian cricket team. But this I thought was the best, but didn't crack it. So we needed to go back to the drawing board and see what can we do differently. I mean, if this is not it, the response I spoke to a lot of the jury members in Cannes and to understand this. What they told me is that some of them opened their mouths, some of them didn't. But what I understood is, they said, this is what Nike does anyway. What have you done differently? How have you taken what Nike does globally as a format, and how have you made it Indian? How have you made it something that nobody has ever done before? So this was a challenge thrown back at me. Then I decided, okay, let's try something different the next time a Nike brief fit. So I kept going to Nike almost every day after that failure, right? It was not a failure, but I started considering it that I not crossed the line. Somewhere you've fallen short. So then you push and we get a brief. They didn't have budgets for the next film because this one was around 5.5 crores in 2012. So it's a big budget, right, for production by any standards. So the next film, they said, we have some 20 or 25 lakhs. Will you do it? Then we looked around, no directors were interested, even though it was Nike, right? But 20-25 lakhs, they won't make money. They'll have to put money from their pocket. So nobody was keen. And then I said, I'll do it. I raised my hand because I was desperate, wanting to do something better what I had done the last opportunity or the lost opportunity. And then we found something quite unique. So all of us know that cinema is made of, all of you have gone to, I'm a little old, but some of you would have seen in cinema theaters, in the old cinema tents outside, you'll find these rolls. The rolls thrown out, right? That will be cut by the editor in that cinema theater because they're actually projecting it out of a film roll. All of you know that there was a film roll, right? Before it became all digital. So the roll is actually 24 frames. It's timed. So 24 different still images, when rolled in the projector, it becomes a motion picture. So it is not video. Like now digital is all video, right? But in the old days, the format was that you had to have 24 frames of the film and the action was happening like that, right? In each of the frames. And when you saw it rolled and projected, you felt it like seamless. So we went back to the beginning and we actually made a film with all still images. The difference was that each of the still images had a different person, which is not the case in a feature film, right? It's the same person. It's the same two actors who are running around the trees or whatever, the action sequence is shot. So this is about different people, different kids playing cricket, but playing the same action. The person was different, the location was different, and the action was the same, right? Person is different, location different, action is same. Somehow, it took 3 months to edit this film. The budgets were low, so we actually got a editor. He's a Malayali too. He's a big editor now. And it was his first film that I gave him, called Prem Kumar. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a big editor in Bollywood now. Does feature films and all that. After this Nike film, he's made some 3-4 feature films. I haven't. I'm still struggling, right? Still struggling. So, how do we, and we took this and actually made this the single idea into the next Nike film. I'll show you a few examples. So watch this carefully. It's actually different images. These are the shorter versions just for you to get the idea. I'll play the big one later. So it's actually still images, right? There were 120 images in that 120 second, almost 15 second clip that you saw. Each one is in a different location, different athlete, different person, but performing the same action. So we got 108 photographers. In that 25 lakh budget that we got, couldn't afford a DOP. So we got all photographers, and we briefed the photographers to shoot the same action, right? And so we gave them the storyboard of the bowling action, which is right arm over the wicket. We still got some left arm over the wicket also. And it was always a hook shot, and the wicket keepers dive and the batsmen's dive in the end. So these are the 4 actions. Now we'll see the batting sequence. So if you don't believe it, you go and I can show you the exact still images. This is sort of the board which we sent to Cannes, just to tell you that we worked really hard on it so that everyone gets the idea. We made a flip book, which was 1,440 pages, right? You remember the old thumbs up flip book with Kapil Dev and Sunil Gavaskar? Sir, you would have seen it. For sure, right? We were all kids then, I think. And they actually made a flip book then. So we actually made a flip book which is this thick to ensure that, everyone in the jury room and everyone understood there is actually still images. Sometimes the people will say, no, these buggers are cheating. They've put some video in between and they're saying it's still image. So we showed them the entire book along with the entry. We sent the book. So everybody's actually seeing that one by one. So it's 1,440 images into one 90-second film, which blew everybody's mind. The most important thing was nobody had ever done a film entirely with still images. There have been some films which use still in some sections, if you freeze for a moment and all. But this is the first film in the world which is entirely stitched together with only still images. Here you are. This is the full film. So this is a story that I love to tell because it's about, again, finding your greatness. I mean, you think you've done great, but that's not the truth, right? So you have to keep working on it and pushing harder. And this film won 7 Lions at Cannes 2 years later, right? So finally the line was crossed and the lion was hunted. Lions were hunted. It also won in all our, advertising circles and the creative aspirations for the One Show as well. One Show is based out of New York. It won gold pencil for film innovation and film craft. And D&AD also it got 7. So everywhere 7 was a lucky number, which was great. Now what do you do next? I'll just show you the campaign so that you also, this is a case study of the same film, but how we made it, so that it's clear.
In a country of 1 billion, space is a premium, but the cricket-crazy youth are chasing a dream and they're making every yard count. We told our story using thousands of pictures by involving the participation of thousands of cricket-crazy Indians, both online and on ground. Cricket-crazy youth across the country were invited via Facebook, Twitter, and the web to send in their cricket-playing action images in any of their chosen positions. Each key image was pre-planned to be a part of one seamless action. All the CCY had to do was send in his picture to Nike Cricket on Facebook or tweet his picture with the hashtag #JustDoIt. We even got Nike athletes to tweet and call for entries. Thousands of pictures started coming in from across India. With the objective of capturing the same key frames, a battery of 108 photographers set out to capture bowlers, batsmen and fielders across numerous playgrounds. We also created events inviting CCYs to participate at certain fields. Traveling across the country, these photographers captured images from various playing fields, streets and gullies. Even the sound design was co-created using the chants and screams of CCYs from various playing fields. Chants like "Pakad Pakad" and "Jeetega Bhai Jeetega" featured in a truly original soundtrack. The result? One cricket crazy film, completely co-created with the cricket crazy youth. The film was launched online on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, and even had teasers on Instagram. It connected with every cricket crazy Indian and went live on TV and cinema during the India-Australia match on Sunday, the 30th of March. The film can be replayed frame by frame on NikeCricket.in and on Facebook uploads in the same sequence. The passion of the CCYs was recognized worldwide. Globally trending and instantly viral, the campaign gained free PR while the world learned how to make every yard count.
So one good film leads to another, right? That's what I've learned. So you do good, it comes back to you in multiple different ways. So this was a call I got strangely
In a country of
from a photographer who I had no clue about, right? His name is Jimmy Nelson. So he walked into the Amsterdam office of, at that time, the agency I was working for was called J. Walter Thompson, JWT. You know, all of you know JWT, right? So JWT Amsterdam reception, there's a slightly senior white gentleman, bald completely, no hair on his body, whatever, whatsoever. He walks in, he's sitting in the reception and he says he wants to meet Senthil. So they're all confused because it's Amsterdam, right? I'm in Bangalore. So I have so there's this, luckily for me, the guy who was leading Amsterdam office at that time is Mr. Bas Kosten, a Dutch guy. He's today the chief innovation officer or chief creative officer innovation for VML. So he immediately knew that there is he knew me obviously because I was part of the Global Creative Council. So he quickly connected me over a voice call at that time. This was, I think 2014. Yeah. No, 2 years after this. So 2016, around 2016. And so this photographer is not leaving. He's saying, I want to meet this guy. So then everybody asks him why. And then he shows them this Nike film. And he says, I want to meet this guy because whoever's directed this film, I have spent 33 years of my life and he has the world's most mind-blowing photographs. You will see them in some time. And his entire life he has spent shooting indigenous tribes around the world. So he goes into, and he was on the National Geographic cover, I think for 10 editions of the Geographic magazine earlier and then the National Geographic. He's a big photographer. I mean, the photography world knows him very well. I mean, advertising people don't know him because he doesn't do advertising, right? He's an artist, pure storyteller through images. So this guy made sure that, I talked to him and then I said, sir, send me some of your images. So at least we will start thinking, of course, we'll do your film. Again, he was another guy who did not have money. Right? So it seemed like it was going down one direction where, you have become a low budget filmmaker now. But it all worked out and we cracked this film. 30 years, imagine he gave me his entire portfolio, 30 years of his work. He shared it with me, hoping that I'll make a film for him. And my job was also not to do exactly what we did on Nike, right? To try and make it different. I mean, otherwise people will say, just another copy of what you had done earlier. So we tried to push the photographs into cinemagraphs this time. So cinemagraphs are still images where there is some slight movement in the back. Some of you creative guys will know exactly what I'm saying. But and it's like pushing the image. So you use a little bit of post-production and technique to even Photoshop at times to actually move the leaves. The tree is moving in the background, but the man is standing. The tribal is standing with the spear. So you'll see that using cinemagraphs and little bit of video here and there. We managed to think. So this is not all still images, but it challenges you in a completely different way. Just going back once, just to tell you that if you were to actually set up a production for this kind of a film, it would have cost more than 100 crores. Because your actually locations is shot for 30 years around the world. All the tribal zones where nobody has access to. I mean, so imagine a production team going in and shooting and capturing these images. So I was, in a way, it was God sent. I was lucky that he found me because of one film that he had done, right? So just keep that in mind while you're watching the images. And these are the most, and he shoots, I don't know if, he's an old school photographer, so he shoots in that vertical format camera. You remember that where it's a TP. Basically, it's a transparency which is inside, which is this size. It's like almost an A4 size negative. So imagine what size you can blow it up in outdoor. So all that he sent to me. I still have a book which is this high, and this thick. It probably could go for a few crores and fund my feature film. That is my plan. Yeah. Sorry, I stopped it, but I just had to tell you that. Thank you for the applause. We didn't stop there. We went and did something quite cool at that time. I mean, Facebook had just, it was in beta mode. They had launched something like an application which you could work with and do something on your own. So we got into that. We hacked into Facebook literally. And there was this creative technologists I worked with. So a bunch of guys, young guys who actually understand all this much more than me. But we cracked an interactive action, which is basically if you blink, your eyes blink, you're the viewer, and on the Facebook, if you watch the film, when you blink, the film stops playing. So this won everything. I mean, this won Grand Prix in tech and all that for the same photographer. And
In 1899, Edward S. Curtis was despised for photographing the beauty of Native Americans. Nobody recognized the importance of his work until most of their culture was wiped out. Almost a century later, an English photographer started a similar journey. Jimmy Nelson devoted his life to photographing indigenous cultures across the world before their cultures are lost forever. Because we're losing the world's last indigenous cultures as a result of globalization and advancing technologies.
We have to start documenting these cultures very, 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 very quickly because they're going to disappear. And as soon as they disappear, we will lose something which is very, very, very important to us. It's our authenticity, it's where we came from, it's our origins.
British photographer Jimmy Nelson has tried to document vanishing tribal cultures.
Photographer Jimmy Nelson.
These pictures look at you. I ask you to look at them.
So I'm writing Jimmy Nelson's feature film. So just in case if there's anybody with lots of money here, you can produce the film, right? So it's a beautiful story of he's actually born to archaeologist parents. So his childhood, who worked for Shell, right? They're digging up for oil in multiple different places in Africa and South America and all those places. And his childhood was spent, playing with skeletons in graveyards and different spaces. It starts from there, that's the opening scene of the film. And you can do like Drishyam, we can do 1, 2, 3 and all, but the film actually ends on his photographs appearing. He actually ran away from school because of he had the strange malaria. He had malaria in the school, and the church fathers in the school gave him some medicine, and instead of having one, he had the whole bottle. So he lost every single hair in his body. So there's no hair on his head or anywhere else. It's a condition called I forget what it's called now. So he was almost abandoned by everyone after that. Nobody used to talk to him. We've been through that in school and all that. Something happens to us and your friends avoid you and all that, right? So nobody in the school used to talk to him. So he actually ran away from that school because in the school library, and because nobody went to the library those days, he went to the library and saw this one comic book called Tintin in Tibet. All of you read Tintin in Tibet? So in that comic book, almost every frame has a bald guy. Completely bald, because they're all Buddhists, right? So what he saw in that was, this is a world where everyone is like me. And he actually ran away from Ireland, Scotland actually. Scotland, those days they used to have an open ticket. Because his father and mother both were archaeologists, they had given him an open ticket. And his father had also given him a Yashica or one of those Japanese cameras, the small ones, with 2 rolls of film. And he was never a photographer. He had that in his trunk. So he took that and that open ticket, flew in to China, and from China actually went into Tibet. He reached Tibet and the Chinese invasion followed. It's a great time to be in Tibet for him because he cannot be there. He's a foreigner, right? He was not allowed to be there. Every day he used to roll on the mud to get that color slightly. The whiteness would become slightly more clayish and therefore brown. And everybody thought he was another Tibetan monk. He anyway didn't have to shave his head. It was all there, almost. So 2 years in hiding from one monastery to another. He took 48 pictures. And when he went back after 2 years, he came via Nepal, India. From Delhi, he took a flight to London. The first person he meets when he goes to London, goes to a pub, is some person who works in the Geographic. It was called, National Geographic was called the Geographic magazine those days. See, he meets him and then they have a conversation, have a couple of beers. They shows him some images and all that he's developed himself. And they actually go to the Geographic lab. Throughout the night, they develop these 48 images. And the next issue of Geographic, the cover photo is Jimmy Nelson. And the entire magazine has all that 48 images. So it's a beautiful story, I mean, of how anyone would want to become. And it's a simple story, right? Of childhood, problems, and then it's got all the emotions and that little mystery hiding. And it's a beautiful story to tell, and I will tell it one day with your support, right? Now we come to what we are, the most interesting part of the journey. So now you've seen long films, right? While the Nike film and the Blink film, because they are still images, they can be easily cut down, right? I can do a 10-seconder, I can do a 5-seconder and still make it work. But what about the others? How do we do this? The reason I put this up was, this was done for the Rotary headquarters, New York, and that this is one of their most shared films ever, right? And when India was polio-free a few years ago, it's created by us, but the art and the animation is done by Suresh Eriyath. All of you know him as well, of Ixorus. He's amazing. I mean, if you haven't worked with him on an animation film, you should. I mean, if you're in advertising and if you've not worked with Suresh, I think it's a miss, big miss. He's a genius, complete genius, NID gold medalist. And this was about stretching one thing, right? What we did, I mean, join hands with Rotary was the brief, right? To help, I mean, to communicate that India will be polio free and on causes like this. So we actually used the palms as the canvas and made this film, splitting seconds through art. And then again, one good film leads to another. A lot of clients have asked for something like Nike, but slightly different. So this was another one for the launch of Star Sports. The first channel they launched, the regional language was Tamil. So this is for Star Sports Tamil. Some of you would have seen it. It also is the track also was a big hit. But while making this film, another interesting part, because this is about journeys, is that all of us know Vairamuthu, right? Vairamuthu's one of the most poet lyricists in Tamil cinema at least. So his son had just started Madan Karki. And I sort of decided to collaborate with him because while I'm originally a Tamilian, but I can't write in Tamil. So we got this guy to write, and he actually came up with the idea, which is basically, he said, why not let's do the track capturing all the childhood games that we played as we were growing up. So the entire track is built on the multiple things. The mistake I made is, as a director, I didn't see that as a visual idea. I thought it's a great track and left it there. So that was a miss. But otherwise, it still worked as a film. It would have been even better if we had actually shot all those childhood sports. But of course, the client being Star Sports, they said you have to show only popular sports, right? Which we are showing on the channel. You can't go and show all your childhood games and all. So we couldn't. I mean, it was a little bit of a miss there. It also works. While we're trying to compress time here and tell stories in the shortest possible way, using split seconds or splitting seconds to tell a story, the other way of doing it is actually what we do in cinema, right? Or what a filmmaker does in feature films. It's about expanding time. So here is an example of that too, so that just to tell you that both are possible, right? While you're at it. This film we did for Gatorade. It's actually one sequence which we've actually stretched it using high speed, slow motion, using phantom cameras to almost seem like it's happening over a large expanse of time. But it's actually a simple idea where the same athlete is giving the Gatorade to himself. But it's shot like it's a relay baton. The bottle is the baton. How many seconds you have, man, to tell a story is the question that we ask ourselves. And because of all the work that we do, again, it comes to interesting. So the guy who was heading Nike became the head of Facebook. Then it was only Facebook, not yet Meta. And he briefed us on this one campaign, which is basically to encourage creatives across the country to actually work on a short format films. So to tell the story in 10 seconds. They didn't say 10 seconds, they said tell short format stories to encourage more people to actually post on Facebook and Instagram the shorter format stories. So we actually created a contest, which is a national contest run by Facebook, and they did like a agency tour. They must have come to some, I don't know if they came to Stark and all that, but Facebook actually did it like how the media guys do it, right? When you're promoting something, You actually go to the different agencies and promote a particular way of, either as a front page. Times of India does it a lot, Times Response. They have a full division who does only that, right? You go to all the agencies and show that you can do this in the newspaper, you can do that, you can do inverted, you can change the masthead, all that. So then they get some business that way. So Facebook actually went around and encouraged all the creative people in all multiple agencies. More than, I think, 120 agencies participated in this. And we were the creative agency who actually created the campaign for that. And then we selected 20 scripts from the entries, from around lots of, maybe 120 into probably 10. So there were probably around 1,000 entries, out of which we selected 20 of the best scripts. 5 was ours and 15 was the other lucky agencies. And then we got Nirvana, Verma and team to actually make the films. And you would have seen some of them, they all went viral. And each of them are gems, because you can actually tell stories in 10 seconds if you really want to. And I'll play some of them for you. They're all online, right? You can go and see it anytime. You can see here, just 10 seconds. That is one of my favorite films, right? And it's raining, and you've seen that scene so many times. I mean, Bombay and all, every day, I mean, on a monsoon day, you'll see it. The guy's actually selling you umbrellas. He's drenched himself, but he's giving you the product, and just the other guy buys it and gives it back to him. Beautiful 10-second film. Communicates so much. The power of storytelling in 10 seconds. So watch this carefully. This has hints of the Ramco coming up, right? So we actually released 17 films made by us and Nirvana, and out of the 20, I think 3 there was no budget or something. Verma's an expensive filmmaker compared to me. Now, can you also tell stories in 1 second? You can, if you really push hard, and we found another solution there. See a still image, which is 1 or 2 seconds, but actually if you loop it into a GIF, it goes on and on and on, and you can still communicate something and make the penny drop. So here is 1 second storytelling. This we did for Tata Gluco Plus, another brand that I launched and love, and the client wants me to work on it, so probably it will move soon to Famous.
Yeah.
Non-stop energy, Tata Gluco Plus. It's actually 1 second. We call them energifs. Huh? GIFs. There are GIFs and there are energifs. These are the energifs. We did a whole series of them, some 100 of them. It's actually just 1 second clip, but it's actually seems like it's actually rotating and moving because of that motion. And those days the GIFs did not allow music. I mean, now you can do it on Insta. You can actually add music. So we did multiple. Non-stop energy, Tata Gluco Plus. I put some music on it later, just to give you a feel. So at the heart of it, there are only 3 images, right? 3 seconds we made it into one full 60 seconds. You can go back and forth and have fun with these GIFs. So, I mean, that was a case study, but. Then, can you actually work with less than 1 second, 1 frame? Can you tell a story with just 1 frame, 1 still image? Which is, we remember 24 frames made 1 second earlier when we began on the Nike front. So this was something that the boys from Calcutta, the team in Calcutta loves me because I keep pushing them and letting them do whatever they want. They're the guys who made that tribute video which Laj found, and he said that is the best introduction. We have to get that. So we had somehow got it, yeah. So this is an idea of a very young art director in Calcutta who came up with this idea of actually simulating how you hold a bottle. Right, so just this, but it's actually you're holding the neck of a bird, right? And it says don't use plastic. I mean, the penny drops that because it's a stirring image, right? Which you will see next. These are the 3 images. So this is what I mean. He had done more from a artistic. It was a sketch, and then we got some amazing post guys out of Thailand to actually do this. I mean, create it, make it seem as real. In fact, when we posted this online, there was a lot of hate also. Because people thought that we are actually killing the bird. Nobody thought it's a simulated image, I mean, which is like art directors will know. But real people assume that it is actually, you have to switch off this light, I think. Assume that it's actually real penguin, real turtle and real, seal, right? Baby seal. So it created a lot of impact. And the idea came first in this case. And then among the many clients that we work with, we tried everywhere. Everybody was shitting bricks saying that no, this is too risky. They saw that hate mail. But the Times of India actually had a project going on about plastic pollution. And we actually somehow managed to connect the dots. They didn't pay for it, but we made the campaign anyway. So, using a little bit of animation, you take that one still image and you simulate movement. So now all of you will agree, right? You can make a film with actually one frame also. You don't need to do it with 60 seconds. So that was the journey. I'll show you a couple of other pieces which are quite popular. I won't show the Hindu one unless there's anybody from the Hindu who wants to see something. So this is what Laj was also telling, and this is my most celebrated work. I mean, it's not in the split second scene, but it still tells you stories, right? But the reason I put it in this deck is when I initially wrote the script and made the storyboard, amazing storyboard. Everybody was excited because it's Times of India has always been one of those. It's like the Nike of media, right? It's if you put a parallel to it. So everybody wanted in the creative team wanted to work on Times of India. I got lucky. My boss at that time was Agnello Dias, and he sort of was also kind, like many of these gentlemen here are. So he let me do this, and because I was running Chennai office at that time, and the Times of India had moved into Chennai. We actually opened with this film. This was in 2008, August, I think. There's some Chennai day or something. So we aimed for that. So we went for the PPM. with all the Bombay director, Good Morning Films and all that, and made this amazing storyboard. It was like an art book. Like every frame was like a painting. And 90-second film we presented. The client like literally jumped on us and said, the brief was for a 20-second film. What have you done like this? I mean, whose money are you wasting? All that full shouting and screaming was going on. Then even Aggie was quiet. And then I said, sir, just give me 2 minutes. I'll come back with a 20-seconder. You want 20-seconder? I'll come back. We literally took that penny. It was very, sad, but we tore the storyboard. We tore the storyboard to pieces, cut it down to what? That 20 seconds, how we can tell this same story in 20 seconds. Again, it is splitting seconds, right? You actually come up with a story which is this long, then you find a way to compress it to the crux of it, of what you need. And the sequence in the 20 second, I don't have the 20 second here, but it was just that one scene where the guy is changing from cinema to politics. And the two sides of the same character, and we reach the end of the film, right? So because that was the story, from cinema to politics, and which is the insight. Most, even today, the CM of Tamil Nadu is from cinema, right? Cinema to politics is two sides of Chennai. So everybody in the world understood this film. Even though the track was in Tamil, it was mad. Nobody had seen India like this before. We shot morning in the Marina Beach fish, chopping the fish heads and all that. So mad shit. But we put it all together and the world loved it. In fact, I got a call. I didn't go that year to AdFest because you're not allowed. No budgets to send creative people everywhere around the world. You have to ensure that you go to Cannes, right? So that was my plan that year. Luckily, I went. And we won India's first and second gold lines. But when it won the Grand Prix at AdFest, a lot of you know AdFest, right? It happens in the Far East, in Bangkok, somewhere around that area, in Thailand. So there I got a call saying that all the Thais have gone crazy. They're all asking for the track after this film, right? So here it is. My best work, which I haven't managed to beat yet. We did all this so that the jury or whoever is watching it understands. Because otherwise, sometimes they might not understand it, So we had 2 slides in the beginning which told you a little bit of background. What does Nakumaka mean? And then the synopsis of the film. From cinema to politics, from right party to... So this was the 22nd was just that. From rising cutouts to burning. Just the 3 lines in the middle. From popular hero to lonely scarecrow.
Nakumaka, Nakumaka, Nale Mulika, Nakumaka. Yeah, Nakumaka, 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 Nakumaka. Metrasu Dona Sula Medicine. Naila Modi, Saila, Asima,
Oops, sorry. So, I'm not going to play that again, but I slipped a little bit. I was wanting to reduce. Of course, the music director, a lot of people who work with me have gone places I haven't. So Vijay Anthony did the track, and we released this ad before the feature film, which also was a big hit. Only the track, the feature film is not great. But after that, the music director has become one of the big actors now. he's following, he's seen the film, he's done the music, and now he's becoming that only. And he's also standing for elections. So, life is a full circle, yeah. So, and the reason I put the other film is because I asked, Raj was asking me that you should play Nakamuka at the end of your presentation. Immediately after Nakamuka, Times of India launched in Kerala. I don't know if you guys remember. I think this was around 2012. I think I remember. So the Nakamuka was. They launched in Chennai as a newspaper, and the Chennai edition in 2008. We did won the 2 gold lions in 2009. 3 years later, they said we are coming to the last bastion. Times of India did not exist here because of Malayalam Manorama and the powerful local media that you have here, and they found it very difficult. So they said, again, they reached out to me, no budgets, can you do something amazing? We tried. I mean, we were also ambitious. We said, okay, we'll do part 2 Nakamuka, but we didn't succeed. But we did some cool things, and I'll play the film. The film we got, at that time, I think he's no more, Kalabavan Mani, to actually, I wrote the script in English, obviously. My Malayalam only I can understand. I can't speak that well. Sare, and those kind of things I can say. But he actually did a great job in writing the lyrics, and it was about 2 sides. Like we kept to the same 2 sides, but in Kerala the 2 sides are left and right. Right, so we took that and actually made that film. It'll play after this. But we also did some cool things. We tied up with, I remember spending, that's how I remember Trivandrum so fondly. Like here only, somewhere in Trivandrum, in a studio, we worked with Avial. The band is here. I think Tony Studio, right? When we actually worked with them and created a track also, which had a lot of, Avial Suprabhatam. But we did a lot of things actually. But this one didn't, oh God, I'm playing the same. I'm stuck on Nakamuka, I think. This is the whole case study. I'll just play it so that you know that we have done a lot of work for Kerala. Not succeeded. I think Times of India has not reached anywhere yet, no? But some 100 houses are reading over.
The Times of India started by wanting to reach out to every home in Kerala.
So, when you have no budget, I'll do the voiceover also.
Fixed on tall trees, perched on mountains, and floating on water, with its all Kerala edition. One common phone number to call for fresh home delivery anywhere in Kerala: 0484 237 8840. Because delivery boys are different in God's own country, the Times of India hired 108 elephant delivery boys.
This is all Trivandrum, largely.
We also invented the floating tea shop and launched over 100 boats on 1,500 kilometers of backwaters to deliver fresh news and the hot morning tea. And activated warriors of the 1,000-year-old martial art, Kalanipayattu, the original delivery boys. We even got Kerala's most popular Malayalam rock band, Avial, to sing in English and of course deliver newspapers.
This still, I'll pause there. This one, the creative guys here you'll have to tell me what went wrong, because this we thought was also amazing as a film, especially the left-right part, but it didn't win any major awards. But it was covered by the New York Times as one of the most amazing pieces of communication. Strangely, in fact, the journalist from New York Times had called and wanted to inquire on what is this, why is this left, right, what is this nature of Kerala. So I had a lot of interview time, and I don't know how long, how big the article was, but it came in the New York Times, a story about a day in the life of Kerala. I think this is a short version of the film, not the full film, but you get the idea. That's it, I guess, for this evening. Unless you want to see more, some more work, but yeah. Almost always. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. None of you went for coffee or chai, so I'm lucky, I guess.
Questions?
Any questions? Anything? Specifically, you'll have to tell me what went wrong in the Kerala film also. I can play the whole film if you want, or send it to you for a detailed feedback. Any questions? Fire away. No questions? Anything that you're curious about also?
Yeah, hi Taleva. That was a wonderful session. So my just one remark, like we started with the Nike commercial. So that was a long version one, 2 minutes, 2+. And the recent 2026 World Cup Nike film is also like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So the long format films still exist. And in between you said even the Nike film which you did can be cut into 20 seconds or 30 seconds. But do you think it will make the same impact? Because that 2-minute one was very impactful. If we cut into a short version, 10 seconds or 20 seconds, do you think it will make the same impact?
If the limit was only 20 seconds, we will meet that objective. In the sense, because you made the long film and you've seen the long film, you feel that the compression of it will not be as impactful as the long version, right? But if you look at what on the thumb stoppers, none of those films needed 1 second more. So it's when your objective is to write only a 10-second film and think in that how do you make every second count, then you will achieve it. If you're left free, like most of the time we creative people are, we will write 90 seconds and 2 minutes and maybe 10 minutes also, right? Films, because that's what we have. We want to tell stories in the best possible way. But when you put yourself that little sort of almost like an ambition to ensure that I only have 10 seconds. Now in that 10 seconds, I need to make every second count. What is the first frame? So 10 second storyboard we'll do and we'll make it work because you can do it. The objective of this, telling you this, this session was to say that you can actually tell a story beautifully in 10 seconds. You can tell it in 1 second also if you're pushed. So that, yeah. That's all. Any other questions?
But the attention span is getting reduced now, no? So
yeah, they say it's equal to a goldfish, which is less than a second. 12 frames.
So if you make a long narrative, how will this hold?
No, that's the challenge. The narrative has to be so powerful that it holds you for longer. This is a media planner who is also working with the media to telling you that we will have to ensure that every ad is only 20 seconds or 10 seconds, right? It depends, I mean, on the budgets you have and what length your story needs or your storytelling needs or the brand needs, sir. It's possible to do it either way. While the attention span is going down, nobody, I don't think, like you can actually check, like for example, the Nakumaka film. I'm just using it as an example. Nobody switches off or moves on in the 10th second or the 20th second. It drags you in, it draws you in, then you want to see what's happening. You want to see what is that brand or who is this, where does this come from, what is this madness? So you have to find a way to grip the audience, to hold the attention for longer than the goldfish. Because otherwise we'll all be doing only 1 second films.
Other than money, what are the big challenges you face?
The money is the biggest challenge. Other than that, multiple challenges, sir. I mean, it depends on which film you're talking about. Every film has challenges. Every journey has multiple challenges. But I think in coming up with the idea is the biggest challenge. First, I mean, if you start with that, and also recognizing the idea. Sometimes we don't recognize a good idea, no? It's like we know this guy, let him go. Next. So, but actually that guy could have been the best idea. So it's also, first is coming up with the idea, then finding the right client to pitch that idea to. If you come up with the idea before the brief. If it is on a brief, like on Nike and all that, it's always on a brief. We never had any proactive ideas. We're not allowed to think proactively. But sometimes creative people, we have to think proactively because when you react to briefs, you might not hit the ball out of the park every time. It's a combination of multiple challenges in every journey.
The films have to connect emotionally also. No?
Yeah.
To sustain. So, you have got any formula, success formula, some plan for it, or how is it you normally do?
No, there is no formula, sir. There is only form in storytelling. So, if you find the right form, you can take the audience to 3 hours also. It's a form of storytelling, right? In my case, I make sure that the music plays a very, very, very strong role in telling the story. Because I know, like to your earlier point also, if you have to hold an audience, you need a great soundtrack. It's not just the visual. Because it's actually, we humans are built like that. So we have to, our senses have to be activated in multiple ways. While the eyes are keen to watch the visual, the ears must also like sort of open up and say, what is this sound? Why haven't I heard this before? And then you're all automatically, it's like in food, they use this a lot, right? All the senses have to appeal. I mean, it has to look great. The chefs do that a lot. It has to look great. It has to smell great, and it has to taste great. So those are the 3 senses they operate on, right? When it comes to food. For us, it's the eyes and the ears. So audio, visual, medium. So make sure that 50% is on the visual, 50% is audio. Equal weightage. And then, of course, the editing of it. That's a post thing. But idea-wise is if you have a strong track and a great visual, then the way you cut it, slice it, makes the film even better. It's like in theatre, in stage plays. What happens in that stage in street theatre? Kerala is known for a lot of street theatre as well. So, I mean, you hold the attention of the entire street, right? With just 2 characters playing multiple roles. So, sound design, editing are the post-production things. But you start with audio-visual, equal weightage. Sometimes the visual will take over, sometimes the audio. But overall, it should seem like you're getting both the senses on a high when you watch something. Then the audience will not move anywhere. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, is there any kind of, is there an Indian campaign which you think it deserved a Cannes lion, but it never got that kind of recognition?
Good. I mean, that seems like a setup for Ramco. This one, this is done by Verma this year. I don't know if many of it was not on mainstream TV. I never saw it on mainstream TV. Largely online only. But
Hard work.
Yeah, the full length? No, 10 seconds or something. 20 seconds.
Start at the full.
Somehow I never saw it. On local channels, Malayalam channels or?
OTT.
Yeah, OTT. Oh. Or maybe they did an OTT plan, so I must have missed it. But this is a beautiful film. There are many such cases. I mean, many films I have done also, I thought every year I should win, it don't win. So, you have to keep trying. Sometimes you get lucky. Nakamoga was a bonus because until then nobody from India had won. So I'm like one step ahead of Piyush Pandey sir and Prasoon on the film front. Have you seen this film? Right off.
எனக்கு வேணும் அங்கே அங்கே போன வாட்டி கூட வந்து பக்கத்தில் சொல்லக்கூடாது ஸ்டாக் எல்லாம் புரியுதா எனக்கு ஸ்டாக் வந்து அதோட அடுத்த ஃபுல்லோடு வேணும் இல்லைன்னா வேலை பண்ணிடுவேன் உங்களோட கேட்க
Even the actors are amazing.
Wasting water?
Solo.
Use hard worker. Water curing not required.
In my book, this is a gold. But unfortunately, it didn't win. It was not even shortlisted, strangely. They didn't understand, I think. It was thought. But sometimes they do, right? Let's hope for that every year. I can send you a long list of films that should have won and didn't win. Right now, it's just this one, this year, latest. Please.
Yeah. Across your career, have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome? Did you ever feel like, I'm not good for this? I mean, before the awards. Award is like a direct validation. Before that, did you ever feel like?
In the beginning, yes. To the first, because I did my engineering. My final year project was on the Prithvi missile. So I was in another league as an engineer, right? I could have made it. My sister and brother-in-law are in the ISRO. So I was heading there. But then I became the cultural secretary of the college. There's some mistake, I think. I don't know. Something happened. Somebody said, you stand for cultural secretary. I didn't know, have a clue about copywriting or creative. Or they just pushed me into it because these are Bangalore local boys, you will win 100%. So unopposed I won. I became cult sec. Then you used to go to all the engineering colleges everywhere. Then you have to do something. You can't say that I'm cultural secretary and sit in the back, right? You have to say, you have to also win awards for the college. Then I took part in these 3-4 things like collage, creative writing, all the things that actually made me who I am. So collage was actually putting a lot of visuals together, right? That's the art of collage. So I won first prize to second prize somewhere. I used to do 3D collages. My favorite visual was create a skull on the 2D, on the flat image, and then roll one giant newspaper into a ball, make it seem like the earth and put it in the mouth. First prize everywhere. So then I realized, this is better, no? It's easier. It's easier than working on the engine of a Prithvi missile. So that's got me. So that, when I moved, it was a tough phase because my father stopped talking to me. A lot of things happened and I was constantly tested. Because the first few years, none of your ideas get approved. Most of the people who are above you will say, hey, what is this nonsense? Go write another line, come back. So those 3-4 years I felt, did I make a huge mistake in my life? I could have, all my friends are going to the US. Everybody one by one, they're all going. I am still struggling in some small agency in Bangalore. So those 3-4 years, it was a struggle. But once you start hitting on the ideas, and then it's like a drug. Today is no drugs day, but it's like a drug, right? When you get that high that you've written something, you come up with an idea, and it's doing so well, and people are sharing it, and it's going to win a lion, and that kind of a thing. That's a high. Every year you want that lion.
Yeah, I can relate to the part where you said your idea is not getting accepted. I just joined recently and nothing has been approved so far.
It'll take some time. It won't easily, unless your boss is a very kind guy or he has some connection to you.
Boss was sitting here.
Oh, boss was sitting there, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually from staff.
Yeah, this I didn't figure. But anyway, sorry if I let the cat out of the bag, but yeah, it'll take some time. Right? You have to keep trying, no? They also tried. They didn't come first day itself, they didn't get gold lion. Ask it.
Also, how do you actually feel about your nickname, the Lion Hunter?
No, this I didn't give it to myself. This is Economic Times. When we won the Lions, they published a headline in the main paper in ET. When I was in Cannes that year, with me holding the 2 lions, because nobody had won in film before. So therefore they said, and that editor was also good, kind guy, kind soul, Ravi Balakrishnan, who became a very good friend of mine later. So he kept writing, in every article he would write Lion Hunter only. So then it became like it's not a nickname actually, it's a title somebody gave. And why not keep it, I mean, it's not bad. Nobody's calling me an idiot or something, right? They're saying, this bugger's doing something, he's hunting lions at least. So.
Now what is the challenge of AI now?
This is very. I was wondering how come AI and all no questions come. AI is, I think it's a tool. It's like art for art directors. It's like Photoshop. When Photoshop came, everybody was psyched only. What is this new thing? How to have to learn this also? I mean, the old school art directors who would only use illustrations and all those TPs and all that. Photoshop was new, so they had to learn that craft of actually using Photoshop to make the artwork better looking, or imagine something through Photoshop to make that work. Similarly, AI is here. When I was in engineering, AI was one subject in one chapter in a subject called robotics in mechanical engineering. Only one. That's all. Today, see where it is. So it's got another. It's a completely different animal altogether. Yeah. But filmmaking, I'm yet to see something so amazing that's completely done in AI. It's just, some of it is, but a lot of films are using sections. Like for example, the expensive shoots of shooting in fashion photography is looking very, very similar these days across all brands because of AI. I mean, nobody is going to get that exotic light in Europe anymore, right? They're all doing it on AI. So and the models are all looking the same. So what AI does is, it assimilates data from whatever exists around the world. The search engine optimization happens there itself automatically, and it just vomits. And most of the images are similar looking in that film. What you will have to do is, you have to train the machine to think like you, which will take some time. Some people are getting it right, some people are not. So once the machine learns the way you think, that's when you have to start getting worried. Because one day the machine may beat you. Right now it is just a tool. It's a machine that you employ like an engineer to give you a certain product. There's nothing to worry about. I think it's a tool, you have to use it. It's like everybody has to, the world keeps changing. Before the internet, nobody knew what the internet could do. But today we are all dependent on it, right? Without the internet, we don't know how to survive. Similarly, AI is going to become like that. So you better learn how to use it as a tool and master it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Now, one more thing. During our first anniversary, actually, we
want to open this?
We unveiled our awards, actually, Love of Advertising Awards. Now, it was done by Shashi Tharoor. Now, we are all set to go live the award show. So, we are requesting Mr. Senthil Kumar to unveil the poster and to make the website live.
This is all for the love of advertising. Congratulations to the Trivandrum Ant Club, and God bless you all.